What's going on, guys? Welcome to Euro Restore. This is a 2007 BMW M5 and it was the cheapest running and driving BMW M5 with a clean title in the country, and it's mine. I guess I didn't listen to Doug DeMuro when he said you should never own one of these, because I just bought this for 7,500 bucks. It runs and it drives, kinda. More on that later. Now, I've never really been a big BMW fan. I've always owned Audis and Volkswagens, but the E60 M5 has always been a dream car of mine. I mean, I just think it looks absolutely beautiful. It's a timeless design that even in 2023 still looks like a brand new car. And I'm excited to bring you guys along the way as I rebuild this car and try to bring it back to its former glory. Now, if you know anything about the E60 M5, you would know that it has a monstrous V10 underneath the hood, making about 507 horsepower. While it's a beautiful engine that makes great sound, it does have its fair share of issues. This generation of M5 was plagued with rod bearing failure, Vanos pump failure, as well as a sort of other things, especially if you got the SMG transmission, to which this car is equipped. If you skipped out on the SMG and opted for the manual 6-speed, 50% of your problems are gone right there. But this car, unfortunately, is optioned with that SMG transmission, and that is the main issue with this car. The clutch is slipping. It does drive, but if you go anything above 5 miles an hour, the clutch starts slipping and it's game over from there. The transmission does shift smoothly and nicely. However, the clutch will need to be replaced. So in this episode, I'm going to walk you around the car, show you all the good things about it, show you all the things that it needs, and hopefully we can make a plan to rebuild this thing. Now I want to walk you guys around the car a little bit to show you all the issues, all the things that it has. The car is absolutely filthy, as you can see. I mean, it's just covered in dust. The car sat for about 3 years before I got it. Surprisingly, it was still running. All the weather seals are all rotten and falling apart. The paint seems to be in decent shape, other than some dings that I will show you. The wheels are absolutely beautiful and in great shape. These are my favorite wheels that I think BMW came out with, pretty much of all time. We have a giant dent over here. It looks like somebody caught a square pole or something and just dragged the car around it. Again, more weather seal issues. We'll get to replacing those. The rear windshield, same thing. We're gonna have to get that replaced. The nice thing is these come out and you can just order the whole new thing. Coming around back, looks very good. The rear end has very minimal damage. It does have a little bit of a chip here, which we can touch up, or we'll figure out what we'll do. Now this is the side with the most damage. The previous owner said he backed up into the car. It's been sitting in a shop and he just didn't see it, backed up into it. The doors aren't too bad because I can get those replaced, but the rear quarter panel here is where I'm really worried. Not sure if we're going to be able to get that fixed, but we will see what we'll have to do. The doors do open. I'll show you the interior in a sec. This door, the handle's broken, so it won't open. The car does have paint protection film on the mirrors as well as the whole front end, but it's just yellowed out and we're gonna have to get that removed. The good thing is it looks like the paint underneath it is very clean. So hopefully once we buff it out, it'll shine very nicely. Again, just absolutely filthy. I mean, you can just right into the dust. Now let's look at the interior. So we have a Silverstone interior, black and white. It's like a whitish silver, and I think it absolutely looks great. It's in awesome shape. It does need a bit of a cleaning. You can see that we have some dirt, but overall, guys, the shape of the car, interior and exterior, is really nice. Even the side bolsters, I mean, really nowhere I can see. The car even has the film from, or whatever, the plastic from the dealership the previous owner got it from. It just is, it's absolutely dirty and filthy. So I cannot wait to get that cleaned up. It's no different than the door panels. We got some dirt, some nasty crud. Man, I just don't get how people can live like this. More fingerprints. Back seats, back bench looks in great shape. Really just needs a good cleaning. Again, still has the plastic from the dealership, which is awesome. We have the Alcantara suede headliner, which is gorgeous. It's in great shape. The rear window sunshade is broken, so we're gonna have to address that. However, I'm happy to report that the window ones work just fine. These are usually broken, so that's a good thing. Now if we go into the trunk, it's just filled with a bunch of junk. Looks like the previous owner left some Tesla hubcaps. Maybe we can make a couple bucks off that. Looks like a dog bed. There's just a lot of dog hair in here, so we'll have to get that cleaned out. Looks like the car came with some cables. Don't know what that's for. Some screws, I think that's to the license plate holder. We got the toolkit, which is missing a couple things. It's like a screwdriver here. First aid kit's here, which is nice. I don't know, maybe we'll find what's missing and get that ordered. Okay, let's move on. Now let's take a look at what you guys are all excited to see, the S85 V10. And what an engine it is. So this is BMW's 5.0 liter V10, making around 507 horsepower. It's extremely crammed in here if you can't tell. So this is definitely going to be a pain in the butt to work on. Headlights super worn out. We'll get those replaced. Looks like it's missing the little, whatever that's called, installation or whatever. Let's take a look at the coolant. It looks a little high, so we'll probably get that sorted out, but it's there. So I bet you guys are curious on the mileage. I don't know if you can see that, but it does have 79,000 original miles. So let's start her up. There is no check engine light, surprisingly, although we do have a airbag light and a TPM light, which it's either one of the sensors or maybe the module. We'll have to take a look. The airbag light is for the passenger occupancy sensor, so we're gonna have to get that fixed and replaced. The car does come equipped with navigation. I don't know if you can see that. It's a little bright out. I have navigation. It's pretty well optioned. Has the heated and cooled seats, as well as the seat bolsters that tighten you up on the around the corners on the passenger and the driver's side. Has the parking sensors all around, and it's just a well optioned car. Other than this, now this is the source of all our issues, the SMG transmission. I believe this is the SMG 3. This is a super old school clunky transmission that BMW came out with in the early 2000s. It was on the E60 M5, the E46 M3, and it's had its fair share of issues. These are known to have issues with the SMG pump going out, as well as a lot of the solenoids going out. And this doesn't have a classic torque converter, but it does have a clutch, a flywheel, and a pressure plate. And that's the issue with ours. So the issue with this car is it runs and it drives, but anything above like 1500 RPM and the clutch starts slipping. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put it in gear, and I'm gonna move it into my garage. Let's see if we can inch forward. So it'll go forward, but it just starts slipping really bad. Let's see if we can even get it. There, we were able to kind of sneak it into the garage. But man, it's slipping bad. So we'll have to get that addressed. She works. Sounds good, sounds smooth. I don't hear anything really weird out of the ordinary, so that's a good thing. Now guys, before we do anything else, I want to do an oil change on it today. I don't know the last time the oil's been changed, and I don't know the service history on this. So we're gonna drain the oil, see if there's any metal shavings or anything that we can find. I need to go change real quick. It's the middle of July in Arizona. It's like 115 degrees out. So rather than pass out, I'm gonna go put something lighter on, and then we'll get started. We're gonna jack up the car and get it to operating temperature. Then we'll drain the oil and just see what we can find. Oh, and also we'll cut open the filter, and I'm gonna look through the little leaves of the filter and see if there's anything we can find. Okay, now we go slowly down. Perfect. So far so good. Idling just nice. We're just gonna wait till that gets to the middle and operating temp, and then we'll go ahead and drain that oil, and we'll see what we find, which is hopefully nothing. We are almost to operating temp, and while I'm here, man, this AC is blowing ice cold. So it's nice that there's one thing I don't have to worry about. Here in Phoenix, it's about 115 degrees out right now, so good to know that we have cold AC. Okay, now that the engine's at operating temp, we can go ahead and drain the oil and see what we find. Can we just talk about how clean it is under here? I mean, there is not a leak anywhere. I know the previous owner did dry ice the whole underneath, so it does look clean. Even the washer, there's absolutely no oil leaks. A whole BMW with no oil leaks. Can you believe that? Man, I am shocked. Now it is missing the under trays, so we'll have to source those. But I gotta say I'm impressed. Oh. Okay, we're gonna try to do this without burning ourselves. Okay, not too bad. Let's let that drain for a little bit. I did drop the plug in there, but that's fine. Hopefully this will hold all whatever quarts or liters. Oil doesn't look too bad. I know you can't really see, but all right, let's let it drain and I will catch you guys in a bit. We got the drain plug and washer all tightened up, and now let's move on to the filter. Filter is loosened up. We're gonna wait for that to drain, and then we'll go ahead and get that filter removed. Okay guys, while the oil filter is draining, I just want to talk about what we're gonna put into this beast. So we're gonna go with liquid moly, and we're gonna stick with the 10W60 as required by BMW. I know there's a lot of speculation out there of going with lighter oil and maybe 5W40, 0W40, as some people think this oil is too thick, which is why the rod bearings go out. But guys, I live in Phoenix and it's like 100 degrees half of the year here, so I think this will be just fine for me. If you live in a colder climate, maybe you can go with a thinner oil. I'm gonna stick with the 10W60. For the filter, we're just gonna go with the ProTune oil filter, and yeah, let's get going. Now we can undo the screw at the bottom. I left it loose when I drained the oil for this specific reason. And this is how it comes. So we're gonna have to take this O-ring off, replace with this one, and we'll be all set. Okay, and I recommend pre-lubing. So you just take some of your oil, put it around. Okay, and now let's screw it back into the housing. Perfect. Just wipe it off, and then we can pre-lube the gasket around the housing. Okay, and now we're ready to put it back inside the car. Okay, now with the engine back down on the ground, we can start filling her up with oil. We're gonna add 9 liters of oil, and then we're gonna run the car and check to make sure the oil level is good. If we need to add more, we can add more at the end. Check underneath, make sure nothing's leaking. We are good. And continue filling her up. Two more to go. We're gonna run the car for 2 minutes, then we're gonna turn off the car, check the oil level, add more if needed. And then while it's running, we just want to get out and check underneath. Nothing's leaking, the filter's not leaking, the oil pan's not leaking, and that we secured everything up. And there is absolutely nothing in here. I mean, it's spotless. That's just the wet spots, but look, it is bone dry, guys. Very good news. Very, very good news. Let's top her off with some fresh fuel. Fun, this thing's leaking on me. There we go. Well, thank you guys for watching this episode of Euro Rebuilds. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already. And in the next episode, we're gonna give this beast its first wash in about 3 years. You're not gonna wanna miss it.